Hello, this is the second part of the Pomorze Army and Pomorze Front part of the series on the invasion of Poland in World War II. So this is going to be part 2B of the series. So in part 2A, as I'll call it, we talked about Danzig, the most northern part of the entire Pomorze Army area front. So in the far north of the Polish corridor, the free city of Danzig was occupied by the German army and then annexed after Albert Forster and Adolf Hitler both signed equivalent papers that decreed the annexation of the Danzig Free State into Germany. So for today, I'm going to discuss the main portion of the fighting in Pomerania. So the area between mostly the 4th Army and the Pomorze Army. So I'll begin by talking about the areas in the western side of the Polish corridor, and that's going to be defended by the 9th Infantry Division, the 15th Infantry Division, and further north, Drapila's 27th Infantry Division. And these were attacked by basically the entire German 4th Army. So a lot of strength put on to only 3 Polish infantry divisions, pretty much. In addition to a few border guard units. So they were greatly outnumbered, suffered great disadvantages in number and in strength, because the Polish HQ, in short, didn't put the best equipment, the best material into this northwest part of the war. So I'll begin by talking chronologically, starting with the first day of the war, so September 1st. So in the morning of September 1st, the first attack from the Germans came from the 32nd Infantry Division, so Boma, and that division attacked the 9th Infantry Division. And actually the 9th Infantry Division, I think, was pretty well prepared for the initial attack. Not so much the later days, of course, because they would be badly damaged. But in the first hours of the war, the 9th Infantry Division was pretty well prepared compared to others. If you remember in the Battle of Mowa, when the Polish regiments actually knew that a German attack was coming before they were attacked. And this was similarly true for the 9th Infantry Division. So Verovich, who was the divisional commander of the 9th Infantry Division, was able to inform many but not all of his subordinates of the impending attack, that Germany is making movements along the front line, and that he would expect an actual invasion to come on September 1st. And he knew this from basically midnight of the night of August 31st and September 1st, which certainly helped. And the 32nd Infantry Division said they were kind of like the first to really pass by. And the 32nd passed by some Polish patrols that were actually inside German territory. which is kind of illegal, but the Germans never realized it. The Poles set up these little watch buildings, a tiny bit inside the German side of the border, and they were able to use that to detect German movements. They were able to tell that the 32nd Infantry Division was moving basically entire force, 18,000 men, just to the front line, and many forces, including the 9th Infantry Division, became aware of that, and it was reported to Verbich, and that's how Verbich was able to get his division into combat position to effectively fight. And some minor clashes happened between Abwehr saboteurs and some elements of the 9th Infantry Division. I believe it was the 22nd Infantry Regiment, I believe, that was fighting it. And this occurred between around 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. in Polish time, Polish and German time. But they didn't reciprocate until about an hour after. And this, not because of Verbich, but because of even higher command. And I'm not talking Bortnovsky, I'm talking about Ryszmigwy, because the first attack, the first order to counterattack needs to come from someone high above, like Ryszmigwy. So it didn't come until a little before the Germans attacked. There was a little fighting, but of course, as we know, the actual German invasion across all the front lines happened at 4:45 a.m. And the attack against 9th Infantry Division also came at 4:45 a.m. That's when the Germans crossed the border initially. So the 32nd Infantry Division, two of its regiments, the 94th, 96th, and the 4th Infantry Regiment, they crossed the border into what is known as the Tuchola Forest, so north of Bydgoszcz and Torun, and near the Kursk operational group, but much further south. They were kind of coming from the southern end of what the 9th Infantry Division covered. And the 50th Infantry Regiment in 3rd Infantry Division also crossed the frontier basically at the same time that 32nd Infantry Division did. And noticing the attack, 34th Infantry Regiment dug in, and the 35th Infantry Regiment, which is also a part of 9th Infantry Division, also got prepared for a potential attack. So Polish border guards withdrew initially, and they made sure to not leave anything in their path so that the Germans wouldn't be able to take anything. And they were able to reach solid defensive positions and not, border guard positions, which would make their job a lot harder and could lose them a lot of men. They were able to actually get to the defensive positions, like many of the men in the Modlin army did. And at the same time, the Polish 22nd Infantry Regiment, so the other part of the 9th Infantry Division, they moved to block the road at Koronovo, the road going into it, and so that the Germans wouldn't be able to get there. And this was important because there were armored units coming in there as well, not just infantry, and armor would need roads, and it will make it hard. Also, there were Luftwaffe attacks coming into this area, and these Stuka dive bombers bombed Chu, a town a little south of the Danzig Free State, or of the Danzig metropolitan, and they also were able to bomb other parts of the area in the Modlin front near Mławy and Żegnowo, but not on the Pomeranian front. They had bad weather in the area, so unfortunately for the Luftwaffe, they were unable to get activities on against the Polish Pomorze army on September 1st, or even on September 2nd, as we'll see. And that was important. And at the same time, a few armor car elements of the 20th Motorized Division attempted to breach into Hoynitz, a town near Chersk, but they found that the bridge was already destroyed by the Polish army, specifically the 9th Infantry Division. And they tried to capture the town with an armored train as well, called Panzerzug 3, and Panzerzug 3 was one of 4 armored train attacks used by Germany in the entire invasion of Poland. And it was a ferocious looking machine because it was moving, it was armored, it was big, and it felt unbreakable. But of course, they're not actually very mobile, because as soon as you take away the rails and you're able to capture the rails and destroy it, the train is unable to move, and you can get rid of it. And this armored train was dismantled by tiny elements of Polish army units pretty quickly.